Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Tight Fit. Now I had to basically put the title of the puzzle to cover really the face of the main subject because I really needed to show off these tights that the Spard is wearing. And rather than it being the normal detective and sleuth, I mean, I wouldn't be wearing tight clothes such as the ones being on display here, but B, because the puzzle is constructed by the Bard. So I couldn't help myself but just sort of combine the Bard, the tight-fitting clothes, and this is the end up of the spectacle. Now, just one more thing before we take a look at today's puzzle. So I am traveling next week on business, and what I'm planning to do is to sort of pre-record a handful of puzzles just so that, I maintain that daily cadence. Couple of challenges aside from, it is quite time consuming and I like to actually record my puzzles so that they're reasonably fresh, is that there isn't that many, you know, weekday puzzles I would label out there. So I will record a handful of them today if I can, because whilst I did record on holiday, it was easy to arrange my day around the fact that I'm recording every morning. Much harder, I guess, when you're traveling for work, you're spending a lot of time with colleagues, you sort of need to fit and accommodate their schedule rather than my own. Enough of all of that. Let's take a look at today's puzzle. We've got Tight Fit by the Bard, and I'm guessing it's really all about kind of all of this being very tight fit. We'll take a look at that as we take the look at the rules. I'm not really sure, though it necessarily visually helps you understand how tight of a fit everything is. But I imagine as we start solving, it will feel very tight and very constrained. Just looking at some of the numbers and not voicing any of my thoughts as I'm looking at it, I can see already how constrained it all is. Right, rule sets. So normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, including that top cell, and every 3x3 box. We have killer cages. What cage can I use to illustrate? Well, I'm going to have to go off my normal 2s. So killer cages, digits in cages add up to the value in the corner. Now, the Bard doesn't actually have to tell us that they're unique because they are always on the same row or the same column. So we know that there are no digits that repeat. Now, this 13 cage, which is outlined by this dashed line, is grouping these two cells and is telling us they add up to 13, the number in the top left. So for example, if this is a 6, this would have to be a 7 to make sure that on aggregate it adds up to 13. We also have Kropki Dots, digits separated by a white dot, have a difference of 1. If I have a 2, for example, in here, this would be 1 or 3, so that it is indeed consecutive or a difference of 1. Lastly, what this puzzle I suspect is all about is the region sum line. So digits in each box along the marked lines add up to the same value. So for example, this branch in this box will add up to a value, let's say it's 9, then this would have to add up to 9, and then these 3 would add up to 9, and so on and so forth. Now, explicitly the Bard called out, different lines may have different values. So we have clearly one region sum line that's sort of almost doing like the grand tour around this grid. I think it's pretty much visited every box. But there is a second line in here that doesn't necessarily need to share the same value. And I imagine that would be very tricky because we've got these two cells that are looking at one another. They are definitely, I'm sorry, I'm sort of partially solving here. They are near certainly different values. So, only thing left to do is to say, if you want to go down memory lane, watch bards in tight-fitting clothes, playing their lutes to, courts, or if you don't want to do any of that, but you just want to play along, link will be in the description down below as usual. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So what I was saying earlier is, and yeah, you can immediately place a digit, or very quickly. It is very tight. 24 cage and 3 cells can only ever be 7, 8, and 9. And we've got another 24 cage in here, that's also 7, 8, and 9. These two have to be consecutive. The trick with consecutive digits is one of them has to be odd, one of them has to be even. The only even digit we have available is the 8. So the 8 has to be there with one of 7 or 9. and this cannot be an 8. And then the digit that I spotted is whenever you see region sum lines that have a branch that is 3 cells or more, 3 cells, then you know that the minimum it can add up to is 1, 2, 3, which is 6. And it can obviously have a much higher maximum. We've just established 7, 8, 9 can go as high as 24. But we actually have a branch in here that is only a single cell. So you're limited to a single digit. Knowing that the minimum is 1, 2, 3, which is 6. So this is from 6, 7, 8, or 9. We have a cage in here of 7, 8, and 9 telling us this can only be a 6. Ironically, the 6, 7 example that I had with the killer cage is the correct answer. And it means all around this grid, as we travel through all of these, not necessarily this box, but all of these boxes where we have 3 of them, we can actually immediately place 1, 2, and 3. And then these branches that have 2 cells are going to be either 1, 5 or 2, 4. We'll have to figure that out. Where shall we go next? So this one is from 7, 8, or 9. It has to be essentially the same as we go up. I think it's 9. So first off, it's not 7, because you can see it with Sudoku. So 7 is gone. Now, these 3 cells are all the same, clearly being a region sum line. And it's from 7, 8, or 9, all of which are placed in here. Now, these 2 cells with Sudoku see both of these cells. So this is blue, and the only digit in common between 8, 9 and 7, 9 is indeed 9. So all of these are 9s. Excuse me, I didn't mean to remove the colors, but there you go. I guess I didn't need it anymore. That's 9 gone. That's 9 gone. That's from 7 and 8. We need 13 in here now to get to 22. 6, 7 is not available. It is 5 and 8. The 7, 8, 9 cage tells us that's the 8. That's the 5. Remember, this was from 5, 1 or 2, 4. With the 5, we know that this is a 1. That's not a 1. I don't know why I didn't think about this Kropki dot when I placed it earlier. That's clearly got to be the 3. Any other digit will break. If I put the 1, this would be a 2, but I've already got 2 in one of them. If I got 2, it'll be 1 or 3, but again, I've pencil marked them. This is 3, this is 4. These are not 3, that's a 1, 2 pair now. Have we got anything similarly that I just didn't see? No. 6, 7, 8, and 9, looking at this cell in a 14 cage. Only 2 ways of getting to 14 with 2 cells. It's either 5, 9 or 6, 8. The fact that 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all not available in this cell, this can only be a 5 with a 9 in here. And that again gives me another 1 in this region sum line that adds up to 6. And that's not a 1. 21 cage without a 9. This is forced. This is 6, 7, 8. 7, 8, and 9 means that's the 6. That's 7 or 8. In fact, I can just write them in. That 8 tells me that's the 8. That's the 7. Doesn't give me what these are. These are 5, 6. Am I missing anything else? Not to my knowledge. I did say this is from 1 to, each of these lines are from 1 to, actually it doesn't matter. I've got 5 and 1 staring at this cell, so I know it's from 2, 4. But specifically, I've got 1 and 2 staring at this cell, so the 2 isn't here. The 2 is there, that's the 4, that's a 3. These are not 3s, that's a 1, 2 pair. 2s, you can see, are now up here. This is 4, 5, and 6. I don't know how useful that is. Right now, not very useful. So moving on. We need to finish this with, looks like 3 and 4. And because there is a 4 in here, that's the 4. That's the 3. 3 is joining the 2 up here because of Sudoku with these 2s and these 3s. So that's a 2, 3 pair. These are a triplet. One of them has to be a 1. That's not a 1. That's now a 2, 3 pair as well in here. Have I got any more Sudoku worthwhile doing? Probably this. We've got, I mean, you can see because of the 1, 2 that the 2 is up here. In fact, The 2, 3 is up there, and this is just a digit I can write in. It's a 4. 4 is now in one of these two cells. This is 5, 6. 2, 3 pair, 2, 1, 2, 3 pair. All very good, but actually, yeah, they all line up in rows 1 and rows 2, meaning I can't put 2 and 3 in either of these in box 1. This is the 2, 3 pair. That's a 1, 2 staring at this 2, 3. That's a 3. That's a 2. I mean, yeah, that's all solved. I don't know. I was just for some reason thinking that there may be some more Sudoku to do, but I mean, the 2, 3s are basically done in the rest of this left-hand section. Too early, is it, to look at this? It's tempting. Let's think about what this is, though. We know that's the 1, therefore that's the 1, and this is a digit I can just write in. It's a 4. 4 now in box 6, you can see is restricted. That's a 4 again. We're back to these 5, 6 pairs in a fairly unhelpful manner, I may add as well. It's not like it's easy to resolve. And I think we've kind of got everything that we can out of this region sum line. I know that this is 4, 5, 6. I know that this is, again, 5, 6, and that there's, once again, a 4 in here. But these are not very useful. So really, the Kropki dots and the region sum line in box 5 is kind of where we need to go next. Not seeing any other obvious Sudokus, I'm going to say. I mean, I can see that there's another 5, 6 somewhere in here, and that there is another 1, 2, 3 somewhere in here. These 5, 6 actually pair up easily. So I only need a 7, 8, a 2, 3. No, I don't need a 2, 3. I've got a 3 looking at it. That's a 1, 3 pair. That's a 2. That's a 3. I can do a bit better. But where was I? I was saying that there is a 1, a 7, 8, and a 4. Helpful. I will just key them in. This 7, 8s, you can see, are fairly restricted in that. And I mean, actually, it helps. So let's think about 7, 8 in this section, because, you know, we haven't got all the 7, 8s in row 5. Where could they go in here? Now, if I say it's a 7, well, these can't be a 7. I'd have to put a 7 on here on a region sum line that adds up to 6. That's not going to work. So really, it's an 8 that goes in here. 8, I can type. That's 1, 4. And that has to be the 7. That has to be the 8. That unwinds the 7 and 8. The 1 would have to join a 5. The 4 would have to join a 2. We'll think about those in a moment. I don't have a place for 7. You can see it anywhere in this row except in here. That's a 7. This is 6 or 8. That 8 tells me it is a 6, which helps me just unwind this whole row. And probably with it, you know, the 3 boxes in the middle. Because that 2 must go with a 4 to add up to 6. I think that was what our target was. These 4s are now resolved. That 6 gives me the 5, the 6, the 5, the 6. 1 and 3 gives me a 2. That has to be a 1. That's a 3. That's a 3. That's a 2. Yeah, we're going all the way from here pretty much. That 3 gives me a 1 up here, which is a 2 there. Oh, these 5, 6s are kind of still resisting, aren't they? No, 5, 6. 5, 6. 1 gives me a 2, a 1. I need a 5, which can only go in here, and then a 3. So yeah, that is a lovely cascade of solves. 1 can only be in here. I think we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 consistently everywhere. It's just the 5s and 6s where we're not that consistent. 5 goes in here. 5 goes in there. 6 now goes there. 6 in here goes there, which also gives me a 7 on this white Kropki dot. This is left with 7, 8, and 9. You know that the 8 has to be here, as we described earlier, and therefore this is 7 or 9. In fact, that's not a 7 because of this 7 down here. That's an 8, 9. That's an 8, 9. These are 8, 9s. That should allow me to just write in a 7 up here. Yep. 9, 8, 7, gives me a 9, an 8, a 9, an 8, then an 8 and a 9 that we need to write, 9, and then for the solution, an 8 in here. What a lovely puzzle. And yeah, Mr. Bard, it is, as you said, quite a tight fit. You know, there is a lot of, you know, once you do like a handful of deductions, it just flows so incredibly smoothly just because of how constrained it all is and how tight a fit it all is, as per the title. That's, I think, a phenomenal puzzle for a Monday. Sets the week off to an excellent start, I imagine. Hope that you guys have a good week ahead, that you enjoyed the puzzle like I did, and the video. It's been a while since we've had a nice smooth solve such as this one. And see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.